The courtroom lights flickered softly as the audience settled in. A man in his mid-40s adjusted his tie. It was too tight around his thick neck and beads of sweat gathered on his forehead. His name was Walter Briggs, and today he was the plaintiff. He wore a smug grin, the kind of smile that says, "I've got this all figured out." He leaned on the podium as if he owned the place. Across from him sat a young woman, early 30s, calm, composed, holding a folder tight to her chest. Her name was Rachel Monroe, the defendant. Then the room shifted. The side door opened and Judge Judy walked in. The chatter stopped instantly. "All rise," the bailiff called. The courtroom stood. Judy took her seat, eyes scanning the papers in front of her. "All right," she began, "we have Briggs versus Monroe. Mr. Briggs, you're suing for $2,500 property damage and emotional distress, is that correct?" Walter nodded confidently. "Yes, Your Honor, that's correct. I was emotionally abused by this woman and she ruined my car." Rachel looked down, taking a slow breath. Judy flipped through the file. "All right, let's start at the beginning, Mr. Briggs, what happened?" Walter's grin widened. "Well, Your Honor, Rachel was my tenant. She lived in my guest house for 6 months. I was kind enough to let her stay at a discount, and in return she was supposed to respect my property. Instead, she constantly caused trouble, loud music, rude behavior, you name it." Judy glanced up briefly. "Did you have a written rental agreement?" Walter chuckled. "It was more of a handshake deal. We trusted each other." Judy raised an eyebrow. Handshake deals make for messy court cases, continue." He puffed up his chest. "Anyway, she got angry when I asked her to move out. The next morning I found scratches all over my car, deep ones, and guess what? Her initials were carved into the hood." Gasps rippled through the audience. Rachel's eyes went wide. "That's a lie." Judy raised her hand. "You'll get your turn, Ms. Monroe." Walter smirked. "You see, she can't control herself, even here." Judy's eyes narrowed slightly. "I can control this courtroom, Mr. Briggs, and I can assure you it won't go well for anyone who lies in it." The manipulation begins. Walter turned on the charm again. "Your Honor, I've been nothing but patient. I even tried to talk things out, but she started screaming at me in front of neighbors. Everyone knows she's unstable." He produced a few printed text messages. "Here, proof of her harassment." Judy took the papers and scanned them. The texts read, "Please stop entering my space without knocking. This is harassment, Walter. If you come near my door again, I'll call the police." Judy looked up slowly. "Mr. Briggs, these don't sound like harassment, these sound like warnings." Walter blinked. "What? Do you often enter your tenants' rooms without knocking?" Judy asked. "I was just checking the property," he protested. "I'm the landlord, I have that right." "You have the right to inspect property," Judy said sharply, "but not the right to invade privacy. There's a difference." Walter's face flushed. "She's twisting everything, she's a manipulator." Rachel finally spoke, calm and measured. "Your Honor, everything he's saying is false. I recorded everything. He used to come to my window at night, knocking and asking to talk. I told him to stop. He didn't." The audience murmured again. Judy held out her hand. "Do you have that recording?" Rachel nodded and handed over a USB stick. Judy gestured to the bailiff. "Let's hear it." The recording. The courtroom fell silent as the recording played. Walter's voice came through, loud, desperate, and unsettling. "Rachel, I just want to talk. You can't ignore me forever. I've done so much for you." Rachel's voice. "Walter, go home, it's midnight. Don't act like you're better than me, you should be grateful. Without me, you'd be on the street." The recording ended. Silence. Only the faint hum of the air conditioning filled the air. Judge Judy leaned forward. "Mr. Briggs, that was you." Walter stammered. I was emotional that night, she provoked me." Judy's tone was ice. "You showed up at your tenant's window at midnight and called her ungrateful. That's not provocation, that's harassment." Walter's composure cracked. "She made me look like a monster." Judy shot back. "You didn't need her help, Mr. Briggs. You did that all by yourself." The audience erupted in quiet laughter. Walter glared, breathing heavily. "This is ridiculous. She's twisting everything. She's manipulating you." Judy slowly removed her glasses. "Are you gaslighting me, Mr. Briggs?" He froze. The courtroom went dead silent. The witness. Rachel took a deep breath. Your Honor, I also brought a witness, my coworker Melanie. She saw everything. The bailiff opened the door, and a woman in her 20s walked in, confident, calm. She took the stand. Judy nodded. State your name. Melanie Ortiz. And you're a coworker of Ms. Monroe? Yes, Your Honor, and a friend. She called me the night he came to her window. I could hear him yelling through the phone. The next morning, she sent me a video of the scratches on his car, but they were already there. Judy raised an eyebrow. Already there? Yes, Melanie said. He told her the day before that he'd find a reason to make her pay. He even bragged at work that he was going to teach her a lesson. I thought he was joking. Walter's face turned red. That's a lie. Judy snapped. Sit down, Mr. Briggs. The courtroom buzzed with tension. Walter sat back down, fists clenched. Judy looked to the bailiff. Mr. Byad, could you bring up the police report Ms. Monroe filed? The bailiff handed her a printed document. Judy skimmed through it. According to this report, she said slowly, the car damage occurred 2 days before Ms. Monroe moved out. She turned to Walter. You said it happened the day after she left. Walter's lips quivered. Maybe I got the dates wrong. Judy leaned forward, her voice deadly calm. You didn't get them wrong, you lied. The breakdown. Walter's confidence vanished. I just wanted her to apologize. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Apologize? Judy repeated. You harassed a tenant, tried to manipulate her, and then tried to gaslight this court, and you want her to apologize. Walter's voice cracked. I was lonely. Judy's expression softened for half a second, but her tone remained steel. Loneliness doesn't give you the right to abuse power. You used your position as landlord to intimidate someone who trusted you. Rachel wiped a tear. Melanie reached over and squeezed her hand. Judy turned back to Walter. You're lucky she didn't press criminal charges. Walter looked down. I just want this over with. Oh, it's over, Judy said, for you. The verdict. The plaintiff's claim is dismissed. The defendant's counterclaim for harassment and emotional distress is granted, $3,000. And Mr. Briggs, you're hereby warned that further contact with Ms. Monroe will result in a restraining order. The gavel hit once, crack. The sound echoed through the courtroom. Walter sat still, face pale, realizing the weight of what had just happened. Rachel closed her folder, tears turning to relief. Melanie smiled softly beside her. As they left the courtroom, Walter muttered under his breath. She turned everyone against me. But the truth was simple, he had done that himself. Aftermath. Karma arrives. Weeks later, Walter received a letter from the property board. Rachel had filed a formal complaint about his harassment. He was fined $5,000 and lost his rental license for a year. Rachel moved to a new city, free at last. She rented her own apartment, no more landlords, no more fear. As for Walter, his reputation spread fast. No tenants wanted to rent from him again. And the people who once laughed at his confidence now whispered about his downfall. Karma didn't shout, it arrived quietly. And when it did, it took everything he'd built on lies. Final scene. The whisper of justice. A few months later, Judge Judy was asked about the case during an interview. She smiled faintly. Gaslighters always make one mistake, they forget that facts don't care about feelings. She paused, looking straight at the camera. Truth doesn't argue, it waits. And when it finally speaks, everyone listens. The courtroom was silent, the air heavy with tension. Walter Briggs stood by the podium, his shirt button straining slightly as he adjusted his tie, a smug grin plastered across his face. Across from him sat Rachel Monroe, calm, quiet, and holding a folder to her chest like a shield. Judge Judy entered the room, her presence commanding instant silence. All rise, the bailiff called. The courtroom stood. Judy took her seat, flipping through the file in front of her. Briggs versus Monroe, she read. Mr. Briggs, you're suing for $2,500 property damage and emotional distress, correct? Walter nodded, the grin never leaving his face. Yes, Your Honor, I was emotionally abused by this woman and she destroyed my car. Rachel's lips tightened, but she said nothing. All right, Judy said, let's start with you, Mr. Briggs, tell me what happened. He straightened up. Rachel was my tenant. I let her live in my guest house at a discount. In return, she was supposed to take care of the place. Instead, she caused problems, loud music, rude behavior, total disrespect. "Do you have a rental agreement?" Judy asked. He chuckled. "It was a handshake deal. We trusted each other." Judy's eyes didn't move from the papers. "Handshake deals make messy court cases." Continue. "She got angry when I asked her to leave," Walter said, raising his voice slightly. "The next morning I found my car keyed with her initials carved into the hood." Gasps filled the courtroom. Rachel looked up, her voice trembling. "That's a lie." "You'll have your turn," Judy said calmly. Walter smirked. "See, she can't even control herself." "Mr. Briggs," Judy said sharply, "I can control this courtroom, and I can tell you now, gaslighting me will not go well for you." Walter's smile faltered. "I'm not gaslighting anyone, I have proof." He handed over printed text messages. Judy read them aloud. "Please stop entering my space without knocking. This is harassment, Walter. If you come near my door again, I'll call the police." She looked up. "These messages sound like warnings, not harassment. Do you often enter your tenant's room without notice?" "I was checking the property," he snapped. "You have the right to inspect," Judy said coldly, "not to invade." Walter turned red. "She's making me out to be the bad guy." Rachel spoke, her voice steady now. "I recorded him, Your Honor, every time he came to my window." Judy nodded. "Let's hear it." The recording played. Walter's voice filled the courtroom. "Rachel, I just want to talk. You can't ignore me forever." "Walter, go home, it's midnight. You should be grateful. Without me, you'd be on the street." Silence. "That was you?" Judy asked. He hesitated. "I was emotional, she provoked me." "You showed up at midnight shouting at your tenant. That's not provocation, that's harassment." "She's twisting everything." Judy leaned forward. "Are you gaslighting me, Mr. Briggs?" The room froze. Walter stammered, his face draining of color. Rachel's coworker, Melanie Ortiz, was called in as a witness. She told the court she had been on the phone with Rachel that night and could hear Walter yelling. She also revealed that Walter bragged about teaching Rachel a lesson days before the alleged car damage. Judy looked furious. "So, Mr. Briggs, the car was damaged before she moved out." He hesitated. "Maybe I mixed up the dates." "No," Judy said, her tone deadly calm. "You didn't mix up anything, you lied." Walter deflated. "I just wanted her to admit she was wrong." "You harassed her, lied in court, and tried to manipulate me," Judy said. "You don't want justice, you want control." The courtroom was silent. Walter's breathing grew heavy. "The plaintiff's claim is dismissed," Judy said finally. "The defendant's counterclaim for harassment and emotional distress is granted $3,000, and Mr. Briggs, if you contact her again, you'll face criminal charges." The gavel slammed. Rachel let out a shaky breath of relief. Walter sat motionless, face pale, his arrogance shattered. Weeks later, the clip went viral. Millions watched Judge Judy glare at Walter and ask, "Are you gaslighting me?" The internet tore him apart. He became a meme, a symbol of arrogance exposed. Rachel's calm strength inspired thousands. She was invited for an interview where she said quietly, "Gaslighting doesn't change the truth, it just delays its arrival." The quote spread everywhere. Even Judge Judy's official page shared it. Meanwhile, Walter's world collapsed. He lost his property license, tenants, and friends. Every attempt to defend himself online backfired. The comments were brutal. "Still gaslighting," one said. "Apologize instead of explaining." He stopped posting altogether. The silence grew heavier than the shame. One day, Rachel received a letter, no return address, just her name. "Rachel, you don't have to hate me, I know I was wrong. I just wanted control because I had none in my life. I'm sorry. Walter." She folded it and put it away, not as forgiveness but as closure. Months later, Rachel stood on stage at a charity event. Her recorded words played for the audience. "Gaslighting doesn't change the truth, it just delays its arrival." The crowd clapped, some even cried. Far away, Walter sat in a diner watching the same clip on TV. He stared at his reflection in the glass and whispered, "She found peace, I found silence." Judge Judy, in an interview later, was asked about him. She smiled faintly. "He thought he could manipulate reality, but you can't gaslight evidence. The truth doesn't scream, it waits, and when it arrives, it ends the argument forever." In the end, Walter learned the hardest truth of all. When lies collapse, they don't explode, they quietly burn away, leaving only the truth standing in the ashes.